Today on The Middle Space, we're going straight into the world of middle schoolers with someone who sees it all up close. My good friend, Zion Gibbons, youth mental health speaker and youth guru, in my opinion. And trust me, what he shares will change the way you interact with your kids. We're talking about the real challenges students are facing right now, the pressures they can't always name, the expectations they're trying to meet, and the one question they're craving to get an answer for. Why does this even matter? And who can I trust to talk to? Zion and I unpack the power of mentorship, how to set expectations that motivate instead of overwhelm, and what it actually takes for parents to connect in ways that build trust, not tension. We also dive into the social pressures shaping your child's identity, the role of community, and why your presence, not your advice, matters more than you think. If you've been craving clarity, encouragement, or just a fresh way to see your child during these formative years, this episode is going to give you that and more. It's about rediscovering the fun in parenting, shifting your mindset, and learning how to show up in the middle with confidence and compassion. Whether you're walking in the neighborhood, folding laundry, or on your lunch break, or sitting in the pickup line, I'm so glad you're here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. It really does help to get the word out. All right, let's dig in. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Tuttle, host of The Middle Space, and today I have the wonderful and sweet and authentic and wonderful, and I think I already said that already, but Zion Gibbons.
What's up? Yeah, you can say it twice. You know what I'm saying? That's good. That's good.
That's just, you're doubly wonderful, and I adore you, and I think you know that. I always come back to Zion in everything that I do because you are just the gold standard when it comes to talking to kids.
I didn't pay her to say that, by the way. Everybody listening.
No, none of this is paid. None of this is paid.
I love it.
And so, Zion, why don't you explain who you are, how you kind of got into this space, and what you're doing now?
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you for having me, Sharon. I appreciate you. Always bring me back, like you said. So yeah, my name is Zion Z Gibbons. I go by Z out here in the community. Born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. Now living out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So a little bit about me, man. I'm a second generation prevention specialist, meaning that my dad's been in the field of prevention and behavioral health for we'll keep it between us, but 20 plus years. He'll say that he's only 27, so how can he be doing something 20 years if he's only 27?
Real smart, real young.
Right, exactly. So we'll let him have that. But my passion, that's where my passion came from for youth work and working with mental health and wellness. So before I even get into the passion and what I do for a living, I should probably tell you what I do. So I'm a youth speaker. I travel across the country talking to youth and families about how to have genuine, authentic conversations around mental health, how to be a self-advocate for somebody who is struggling as a youth, how to help a peer who may be struggling with their mental health. When we talk about students, and they're the first to know everything. So we have to equip them with the skills and the knowledge so that they can help each other, right? And they feel comfortable opening up to each other. However, we also talk about how it is important to have that one trusted adult in their life that they can talk to about anything, especially if things are going sideways, upside down, whatever. Because I think, like you said, Sharon, before we got onto this podcast, was you love middle school students, and that is the year where things get a little, little testy, a little shaky, could go upside down, sideways. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, I'm so excited to be on this podcast with you and be the first episode. That's awesome. Hopefully.
Yeah. So your organization's called Up to It.
Right.
So make sure that that's out there.
Definitely.
Tell me about this new person that I've been hearing about, Jake.
Yeah, 100%. I'm super excited to you're the first person that we're going to announce this to. So everybody that's listening, you'll hear this first. But yeah, so I started an organization called Up to It with my dad, and it was both a youth and adult education organization. However, I was contracting with called 518, and when Jake was my guy, man, from the beginning, and he was like my mentor, somebody that saw a lot of me, invested in me, and was like, Z, I think you're more than a contractor. I'm trying to figure out, how do I merge these two together? How do I bring you on? And essentially what we decided to come up with is that I'm going to be the mental health arm of 518, and we're going to do all youth-focused mental health and prevention through 518, through the programs that we created with Up to It. So now Up to It Youth lives in Vive 18. So if anybody's interested through this podcast, go check out vive18.com and go check out our programming and hear what we got to offer.
Yeah, I'm going to do all the things and hyperlinks on the bottom so you can get to all the organizations that Zion's working with. But this, I love that you mentioned that he was your mentor, kind of your go-to person. It just goes to show that mentorship does not stop in your youth. You need a mentor as an adult. And I know as a teacher, I sought out a mentor. As a counselor, I sought out a mentor. And every single stage, I'm like, okay, who can I learn from? Who can pour into me and has time? And I love that you're still doing that and that somebody is taking the time to work with you as well.
Man, it's so important. And I think that's one thing, if a parent or youth is listening, is like, yeah, find a mentor, find somebody who is doing what you want to do,
Yeah.
and ask questions.
And what an honor to be asked, honestly. Like, people are so scared to say, hey, can you be my mentor? When I would be incredibly honored if someone said that to me. Like, you think that highly of me that I can teach you something? Great, let's do it.
Right.
I think that's such a great thing.
I agree.
So let's get into the meat of the conversation, youth and middle school.
Yes.
So what are some of the biggest challenges and social pressures that you're seeing when you meet with students and you go to schools and conferences? What are you seeing that they're facing right now?
Yeah, right now, man, I love this question. When you brought it up, I was like, this is the question that I want to answer, because I think it's getting misconstrued a little bit about what students are struggling with and what they're not struggling with. And it's because we're not talking to them. We got to get it from the source. If we're wanting to know more about a community, why don't we go to the source of that community and ask them, hey, what's really going on? And I think for me, that's been the light bulb for myself, has been asking these students, hey, what is going on? And one thing that students have been telling me is, why does this even matter? That's what I'm hearing a lot nationally, right? From, I'm gonna go through middle school, I'm gonna promote, but what does it matter?
Yeah.
And
Why?
right, exactly. Why does it even matter? Because I think one of the biggest things that happened that we've all experienced was COVID, right? And we saw how quick the world can shut down and how fast things can, relationships and all the stuff that's happening. And they're like, so if the world can shut down that quickly, why does it matter? And I think that's what they're struggling with, is the hope, is, hey, I'm feeling hopeless. And we as adults, and maybe the echo chamber of what we're living in social media and what's happening politically, whatever the case may be, is we keep echoing that same thing. It's hopeless. There's nothing, we're not looking out for one another and that's what the narrative is. But since we're here, Sharon, and we get to do the work that we do, we're the opposite, right?
Yep.
We're trying to show them that there is hope.
There's always hope.
Yes.
Always. Yes. And I think that's an interesting thing. I just was talking to someone yesterday about just the after effects of COVID. Like, we're still seeing that with kids, the ability to socialize, to make friends, to speak their mind, and to figure out the why. Like, why am I doing this? Why does it matter if I go to high school? Why does it matter if I personally succeed and contribute? Like, why can't I just live my life? Yeah. Are you getting any answers to that when you talk to kids or when you're observing them?
Yeah, I guess the answer that I'm getting is they just want somebody to let them know that it's not all gloomy, that there is something to look forward to. And there's, like you said, Sharon, there's always hope. There's always hope. And they want people to go find it with them. They want people to speak life into them. Because I love this book. I'm guilty of reading it, and I love the book, the Anxious Generation. Right? We've labeled, unintentionally, we've labeled this generation as anxious, and when we label a group, and then we say, "Why are you being so anxious?" But then we label them the anxious generation. You have to understand, we labeled them that way, so they're going to act as though they are anxious. So that's one of the things that I'm seeing, is they just want somebody to tell them that they aren't that you can be whoever you think you are, not who we say you are.
And fortunately, unfortunately, kids believe what we say.
Exactly.
And they may not act like it, but they believe when you say the good things about them. They believe when you say the bad things about them. And when you're right, we label this generation as hopeless, as, what do we do with them? They're incapable. They're not up to par. They're not as intelligent or capable as we were as young adults. But if you really look back at it, like, were we at that age?
Right,
Were we
right,
capable? I don't know that we were.
right,
Um,
exactly.
so I love that we're identifying this now, like our words matter. And I know you and I are both faith based, and we believe
Hmm.
in something bigger than ourselves and the power of our speech and the words that come out of our mouth. And we are going to be held accountable for those things.
Yes,
And so make those words good, make them edifying, and make them encouraging.
I love that.
So yeah, I
Edifying.
love that that's the thing that you're pulling out, that like they want to know why, and they
Right.
want to know why them.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. What do you see kids carrying these days that maybe parents aren't aware of or realize?
Yeah.
What's weighing heavy on them?
The fear of making mistakes,
Mm,
the fear of they have to be perfect, and why I say that is things are being documented every day for them. Somebody's filming them doing something. Somebody's we got 1980. Well, I don't know, George Orwell, right? Like we're Big Brother's always watching,
hmm.
and I know for us growing up, we didn't have that fear of if I make a mistake. That's not going to be posted online and get 1,000 views from random strangers across the internet. I wasn't in fear of like if I ask this girl out that I'm gonna get laughed at on for the bunch of social media. I wasn't living in that kind of fear. But one of the things they have to worry and they're so aware of is how is this gonna be perceived online? How am I gonna be perceived online? Versus, hey, I'm a middle school student and I'm gonna make mistakes. Because that's just what we do in middle school. And that's what we just do as humans is we make mistakes and we have to learn from those mistakes and it's okay to make mistakes and that's what we have to remind our students. If we can hold them to an expectation and a standard, I love that. I love holding them to an expectation and a standard. But when they're not meeting it, it's not that they're less than. It's not that they're a failure. It's not that they're imperfect. It's, hey, you're human. You made a
Yeah.
mistake and we're going to learn from it.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually cleaning out my garage yesterday, and I have this big, I'm sure everybody in my generation has this big box of like mementos and pictures and all these things. And my daughter said, "Can I go through that box and look through it?" And I was like, "Ooh, um, mm-mm, not yet." And I was like, to your point, like I can go through my pictures that I printed out at Walgreens, and I
Mhm.
can throw away some memories that I don't want people knowing about, and
Right.
no one will ever know. But these kids are in constant contact with what they did yesterday, what they did 4 years ago, and those emails that you get, like, "Hey, these are memories from 3 years ago."
Hmm.
We never got those. We
No.
never got reminders of like, "Oh, that was a bad outfit. That was a bad hair day." Like, "Oh, who was that friend? I don't even remember who that is."
Right.
That's just insane to me. Like to be constantly on edge about everything that you do.
Hmm. 100%. And I think that's why when we talked about the first part is our words have weight as adults. Like we can change that narrative in their head that, hey, you know what? That doesn't matter. Like as long as we're learning from it, that's what matters the most.
Yeah. And their nervous systems from that are so dysregulated, like living in that fight or flight moment all the time. I
Mm.
can only imagine how many kids out there are reacting out of that, not out of their inner character of who they were made to be. Like they're just reacting because they're scared or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good thing for parents to realize too, and to keep in the back of their mind. Like your kid's on edge probably all the time. So
Hmm.
before you come at them with chores or failures or mistakes, like take some time to calm their nervous system and then have those hard conversations.
That's
Like
so
still hold them
true.
accountable,
Right.
but let's do it from a place where they're ready to receive that information.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great reminder. And I think right now it's getting that is getting like a bad rep these days. I feel like of I don't know where what had happened. You know what I'm saying? Like there's consequences for the mistakes you make,
Yeah.
but also letting them know that hey, even though you made that mistake, I'm still here. I'm gonna love you no matter what. And
Hmm.
yeah, that people we have to understand that as parents is that we are sometimes there's natural consequences for the mistakes they make, and we just got to be the reminder. But sometimes we have to set the consequence, and that's hard, right?
Yeah,
Because you know
it
what they're
sucks.
going through. Right, right. You're
It
like,
sucks.
I don't want to be the bad guy, but I also want to make sure you have accountability in your life, and I want to make sure that you're learning from it.
Yeah, and modeling that too for them. Like, I love that you're stepping into the role this year of being
Yeah.
a father, not to one,
Yes.
but to two.
To two.
So good luck.
I appreciate that.
I watched my brother start with twins, and it was heavy, but you're gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Oh, I appreciate
But
that.
like thinking, modeling that for them. Like, when am I making mistakes that I can share with my kids and show them, like, this is what happened. Sorry, something just happened.
Weird noises.
Did you hear that too?
I did. I did catch that.
I'm gonna start over. But modeling those mistakes to them and showing them like what
It's fun. It's fireworks going off for
it's
you.
old historic buildings. They're always doing something, so I'm just gonna go with it. And
Right.
ignore it.
Exactly. It's authentic.
But yeah, so I mean, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was not feeling good. I almost canceled today and rescheduled because I was like, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
And when I'm sick, I'm not like, I don't have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And I snapped at my son for something that like really wasn't a big deal. And immediately I was like, oh, shoot. I walked downstairs and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sick. I snapped. You didn't deserve that. My bad. And I was like, it's not an excuse. I shouldn't have done it. And he was gracious and he was really kind. He was like, it's okay, Mom. I know you don't feel good.
Right.
But like taking those minutes, literal minutes in your life to come in and say, I made a mistake and you still love me and we're going to be okay and we can work through this.
That's so powerful.
You know, like we need to do that for them as much as they do that for us too.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. And in that communication connection realm,
yeah,
what do you think? And you're right. I love middle school students because there's just that moment of time when you can really, really affect who they become and what they believe about themselves. But in order to do that, we need to be able to connect with them. And so what do you think helps middle schoolers actually open up to adults?
Yeah, I think one of the hardest but easiest ways to really get a student to open up to you is step into the world. Whatever their interest is, whatever their hobbies are, step into that world. Like for me, I wasn't a huge gamer growing up, but I had little cousins and I have, mentees that I mentor, and I don't really care about Fortnite, don't really care about Call of Duty, but they love it. And that's something that they love to do. That's something a place where they connect. So you know what? Let me dive in. Let me see what's up. Let them teach me how to play this game, right? And when you let them be the master at something and they feel like they're teaching you something, that's a moment of connectedness, right? Or maybe it's instruments. Maybe it's an instrument that they love to play, and you probably suck at playing it, and you're like, let me just learn. Like, let me just learn and see how fun it is for them to teach you, right? And they might hit you, especially, I mean, middle school, you're still at that age, but 8th grade, 7th grade is when they might be like, oh, can you just leave me alone? Oh, like, but once you get in it and they're like, oh, they actually want to learn. They actually want to know about like what I'm doing. They're going to light up and they're going to remember those moments and they're going to talk about that during holiday time. Like, oh, Mom, Dad, remember when I taught you how to play the C chord or the C, or when I taught you how to do a quick scope, whatever, right, on the Call of Duty game. You're like, that was fun. And those are moments that they relive because you stepped into their world. And what that allows to happen is now since you stepped into their world and they're like, oh, they're making the effort, they're going to make an effort too. They're going to see the effort that you put in, and whether that effort translates into academics, whether that effort looks like, yeah, I'm going to open up to my mom or open up to my dad or my step parent about what I'm going through because they made that effort for me and they showed me that they care actually. That opens up the door for so many more conversations.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And then on the opposite side of that, what do you feel like, or what if kids told you that they're like, this happens and I'm not sharing. I'm going to shut down.
Yeah, the biggest one is that what I find a lot of parents are guilty of is the same thing that we yell at our kids for, is being on that dang phone, right? Or being so consumed by our computers and our emails and work that when they come into our office, they come in and say, hey, dad, hey, mom, can I talk to you real quick? And like, yeah. 1 minute. Let me finish this email. And then we never come back to that conversation. We kind of blow them off and they're not ready, or we forget that they came into our office in the first place to have that conversation. So they're like, well, if my parent or guardian doesn't care what I'm going through in the moment that I need them, why should I reach out to anybody? Right. And another thing I see a lot is that confidentiality portion too, of when our kid does or our child does come to us, we broadcast it out for the whole family. Now, grandma in Florida knows what I'm going through in Arizona, and I'm getting phone calls from my cousins or my aunts about, oh, it's going to be okay, mijo. It's going to be okay. So, like, and you're like, how do you know about this?
Yeah.
Oh, your mom or your dad told me. And it's like, now I can't trust them. Now I can't talk to them about what I'm going through. So it's this balance of that example, that balance of knowing when you need resources as a parent to navigate the conversation that your student may be going through versus gossiping about your child, right? So I think there has to be a balance between those two.
Yeah, I think for me, that has been a huge push for parents is do not share your child's information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, luckily, I have 4 kids. So if I want to talk to somebody and like hash something out and try to understand what's going on and get some help, I can say one of my kids, and you're not really going to know which one.
Right. Exactly. That's a great skill. That's a great tactic. I love that.
But yeah, like if they're standing there, would you share that same information with your best friend, with your mom, with their friends? I don't know that you would. And if you would, that's a hard look in the mirror of like, I don't know that I would share with you either if my information is just going to go out there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear that. I heard that from students when I worked in middle school was, I don't talk to my parents because she tells everybody, and then everybody knows my business.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I guess part of being a counselor, I can't tell anybody anything. So
right, you're like, I'm a safe place.
I'm a safe place.
Right.
So if you don't have a safe place, a counselor is a great one because we're legally bound to not say anything.
Yes, right. And you know what's been cool and also kind of interesting to navigate is going to these rural communities that I've been able to go to and how small those towns are. So when a parent tells another family member what's going on, it seems like the whole town knows about that person and what they're going through. And now they're getting weird looks on the sidewalk, or now, so because some mental health is still stigmatized in some place. So now they're like shielding their kids from you, and they're like, don't talk to my kid because I don't want that depression coming over here. Like it's some kind of infectious disease. It's like,
yeah.
So you have all these things that are playing, whether you're in rural America or whether you're in the suburbs. Like there's these pockets of places where that confidentiality is so important to those students, because social network is net worth right now in middle school, right? Like who you hang out with, who you are, and all those things, those matter to those students.
Yeah. And I mean, even in younger grades, like I saw this when I worked in 4th grade, like cliques are starting and the social networking is starting, and we have to be able to be there to help them and navigate that. And while you were talking, it kind of reminded me of what you were talking about earlier, is having those mentors. But knowing who is a mentor to your kid and who they trust, because if you do have those situations come up, you can call their pastor, their youth pastor, you can call their favorite uncle and say, hey, this happened. Can you go please talk to them too?
That's so
I would have rather had my tio Umberto come and talk some sense into me and say, like, this is what your dad said. Is this what's happening? Like, instead of being like, oh, they told me about this and I'm just going to take it upon myself to go give you my advice.
Right.
Like, this is already somebody that I trust.
That's so good. I feel like we're getting away from that. It takes a village aspect now. It's like when I'm looking at parenting, it's like, no, this is my baby. Whatever I say, it is. And we're not letting other adults help. We're not letting the other village members village us or take care
Yeah.
of us, take care of our youth. And when we try to hold our children accountable, whether I'm a community member, whether I'm a family relative or a family member, it's met with, don't be telling my son or my daughter that. And
Yeah.
you're like, wait, I'm trying to look out for them and I'm trying to look out for, right, exactly. I wouldn't say nothing if I didn't love them. I
Yeah.
want them to be good. I want them to be great civilians and citizens of our community and want them to be involved. So I'm going to say something. And we're getting away from that now. I want that to be, because I remember growing up, my neighbors would call me out if I was doing something I wasn't supposed to.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
and now it got to the point where some people don't even know their neighbors. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow, that's interesting. And I want to go back and I get it. A lot of fear in some things, right?
Sure.
Of you see the thing, all the negative things on social media you see, and you're like, well, I can't trust anybody with my kid. But there's people like me, like Sharon, like counselors, school social workers, family members that actually do care about your student and wants what best for them with pure intentions.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I would definitely lean on that as a parent. Is like, well, who are my village members that are going to help me raise my children? And that's what I'm looking for right now. As I'm about to be a dad of two, is like, who can I get these young men around that are awesome? Right? Exactly, 100%.
We're gonna be on a Zoom call, babies.
Yes, right. So find that supportive network of people that you can be around, especially for you, especially as a parent, especially for your student.
Yeah. When we moved here to Colorado 2 years ago, we started just a small group in our home. And when these people unknowingly came to our house for dinner and Bible study, and I said, look, I'm looking for people who can speak to my kids the way I speak to them and can call them out when they're not doing something right, that can go pick them up and take them and go do something meaningful with them. I need you to be another parent because I can't do this by myself. And if they can't talk to me, I need somebody there who they can talk to. And that I trust to give them good, solid advice.
Good.
And if you don't put that into place, you're sort of allowing them to pick whoever.
Right.
And you don't get the choice to narrow down, like, does this person even share our values? Do they even care about the same things we do? And at least, like, my friends know what I care about. And so they're going to align their advice with what I would want them to do.
Right.
It's so important to have those conversations and to make sure that those people are in your kids' lives. Yeah.
I agree.
I love that you're already doing this and you're already like kind of thinking ahead of who are these people for my kids.
Right. 100%. Because it probably sucks as a parent, because I told my dad this. My dad will be telling me something like for weeks and months. And then I'll go to my coach and my coach would say the same thing. And I'd be like, Dad, guess what coach told me? He's like, I've been telling you that since how long? And but he has to bite his tongue and be like, yeah, that's great advice. I wish somebody gave me. I'm glad. And you know what? He was great about being giving credit and being like, that's why you're around that coach. It's because he's echoing the same thing that I'm echoing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my husband. I just gave him a hard time for that because he brought up this new thing and I was like,
right.
Okay. And he was like, I know you already told me. And I was like, yeah, like a lot of times. And, oh God, who was it? I think it was our oldest daughter who was like, but it just matters. Like you have to be in the right time with the right person and hear it the right way for it to land. And I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Right. I was like, I do it too. Like until the right person tells me the right thing at the right time, like I don't hear it. So yeah, I love that your dad was very gracious, more so than I was in that conversation. So,
right.
So what are some phrases or approaches or strategies that you can tell us that help us to build trust with our kids?
Yeah, no, this is so good. And I'm shameless plug here, but me and my dad do a presentation called Conversations That Connect, that teach parents and caregivers and caretakers on how to meaningfully connect with youth. And we have this framework that we came up with called the Up to It framework, which is up to it, down to it. We do it because we're used to it. And up to it is the first big major thing is you got to be up to having conversations, putting time aside to actually authentically connect with your student, with your youth, with your daughter, son, whoever that may be. And then down to it is the work, right? The work you have to put in. What does that look like? Does that look like blocking time out on my calendar? Does it look like being present for dinner every day, every day of the week? Does it look like doing my self work on myself before I'm able to talk to my student or my youth about what is going on, right? That's the down to it part. And that's the easier said than done part, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and we're gonna be good. And then the we do it is getting, like we just talked about, the people around you that are gonna give you the resources, that's gonna mentor you. Because as parents, man, I'm looking for, right now as a soon to be parent, I'm looking for every resource imaginable to get me prepared. I'm looking for not just resources, but people. What people can I have in my corner, not only as a father, but also as a human? Like, who can I talk to when times gets rough? Like, yes, I got my dad, which is great, but I got a couple of my homies that I can talk to who are going to be dads as well. But who else? Like, I want to be around great people because it does take a village, and we have to realize that it is going to take a village. And then because we're used to it, it's not just a one-time thing, it's repetitive. It's something that we have to maintain in our lifestyle, in our households. And we go more in depth on this in the presentation. So I just gave you the Cliff Notes version. But if you want to see that live and direct wherever you're at, feel free to book us at uptoit.club for the adult education component. And me and my dad would love to come out and talk to your student, your adults, your parents, your guardians. And I guess the one thing that I would share with parents when we're talking about getting our students to open up to that with them or looking for resources is go to those parent nights that your schools work so hard to put on. Because I mean, Sharon, you know this.
I know.
We'll put the event on. You guys will plan to the max. You'll get dinner. You'll get childcare taken care of, and then you have 2 parents or 3 parents that show up, and they're of students who are already doing a great job. There are parents that are staying informed and that are doing amazing things, but the parents that wanted it are nowhere to be found. And you're like, man, we just went all out for you guys. We brought Z out from Arizona to come out and hang out with you. And now he's only talking to 3 adults. And those 3 adults probably loved it and had a great time. But imagine the parent that's been struggling, that didn't come to the event because of whatever. I get life happens, there's things that happen, but make the effort. Make the effort to hear more about what's going on in your child's school and what's going on in those certain topics. Because like cyberbullying, mental health, substance misuse, conflict, how to handle conflict with friends. Like those are such great topics to talk about and navigate because it's our first time in this world. And we're all just trying to figure it out as parents, as adults as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember those parent nights where it's like, we put a movie on for your kids. We did all the things and you didn't come. What happened?
Right. Oh, then the hard part about it too is y'all would survey before the school year ended to be like, oh, what do y'all want to see? What topics, right? And then they're like, more events, more of this. And then you do it the next year, nobody shows up. And you're like, well, come on.
Okay, not doing that again.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And we're going on a tangent, but I was going to say, and then they get mad at the schools or the classroom or the teachers for not handling it the way that they would have handled it. And they're like, well, if you came to our seminar or to the workshop or the presentation, you would understand how your role is so important in this for us to have a healthy campus, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. With that connection piece, like staying connected in your community, with your mentors, with your kids, their parents of the parents of their friends.
Right.
I think is super important. I was sad that I lost out with my son when we moved. Like he had the same friends since kindergarten.
Wow.
And so all the moms, we knew each other. We were the same age, like kids were hanging out together. And then we moved and I was like, oh no, oh no. And it's hard to rebuild those friendships, but they're so worth it. And even if it's awkward for the first year, still do it because it's important. With our kids, especially middle school and high school, when all those hormones are raging, friendship is getting harder, conflicts are coming up. What do we do when they are distant and moody and they are just not willing to open up.
Do something fun.
Hmm.
Do something fun. Whatever that is. Like, I remember time, like I have me and my sister are 8 years apart. So my sister was in middle school and I was a high schooler and I was driving. And, I could see sometimes my sister would have like a rough day, and she's always very bubbly and very happy. But sometimes you can see when the light's a little dim on her. And during the pandemic, that was especially, and I was trying to make it something that we did together, right? I mean, that something lighthearted, something that's fun. So what we did was we would go get ice cream every Thursday. And that was something that we love to do and that she looked forward to doing. Like, oh, every time at 6 p.m., me and Zion are gonna go in his car and we're gonna listen to music. And we're not gonna talk about anything heavy. We're just gonna listen to music. And I listened to her music. Whatever she wanted to listen to, it was like, put it on in the car and let's go. And it was lighthearted, but it got to the point again, when you make those daily deposits that are lighthearted, that are fun, that are memorable, that create memories, they remember that and they're like, I can trust this person.
Yeah.
And it's, people are like, adults are probably looking like for a one thing that they can do to get them to open up quickly. And unfortunately, that's not how it works.
No.
It takes time. It takes effort. It takes trust and honesty. Without those things, you're going to be looking at a stone wall, brick wall for a lot of times when they're going through something for real. So that's what I would recommend is, hey, you know what? Let's jumpstart something. Let's do something fun. Laser tag, arcade, coffee, ice cream, whatever that is for your family. Do it. And they might be dragging their feet. I don't want to go. But then after the event, after the thing, yes, after all of it, they're like, that's pretty cool. Right?
It's okay.
They won't give you the satisfaction of jumping up and down like, yeah, let's do it. They'll just look at you and be like, that was cool.
It's fine. See you later.
Right, exactly. But that's something they're gonna remember for years.
I love that you implemented that repetitiveness in your program.
Yes.
Just like you did it already with your sister, and bringing that up, like we don't have this on our question list, but that siblings can be that trusted person for each other.
Yes.
I think the boundary needs to be there of like, what do I keep safe and what don't I? But you were there for your sister when she really needed it, and she needed somebody. And that's just something that people don't think about very often is, oh, my kids are so little, like they'll never be able to give each other advice. What kind of advice would they give each other? But if you raise them with your values and you communicate what those are, they should be able to navigate those things together, hopefully.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a whole nother episode that we can talk on about, like, how as a sibling, how do you show up as a sibling, and when do you, I think there's like you said, there's a fine line of like, should this, like you said, if you're raising your students and your youth to be with your values and with your morals, the advice would be sound, but when do they need to share to an adult about something that's maybe unhealthy that's happening with that other sibling?
Like Big Brother's sneaking out at night. Should I tell mom and dad? Yeah, probably.
Right, exactly. Right, 100%.
But they're breaking up with their girlfriend. That's
right.
Up to you. That's
exactly
that's a judgment call. Yeah,
I love that.
What are you seeing right now at schools and in school culture that parents are not aware of that they probably should be aware of?
Yeah, and that goes back to like the first point that we made is these expectations that we place are maybe, because there's two sides of the coin that I see every time. It's the ones that are super structured and that have their students doing everything from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. They're involved in something, heavily involved, and there's expectations where they need to be a high achiever, not only in the classroom, but in their extracurricular activity that they're doing, whether that's a sport, whether that's band, cheer, a mental health club, or a substance use prevention club. They're expected to perform well at every aspect of their life. So there's that high expectation. And when they feel like they're not meeting it, it's quickly something that they feel like it's them, it's their fault. It's because there's something that they're lacking. They're broken, right? And then on the other end of the coin is what I'm seeing is when there's no structure, when there's no expectation of our students, or there's no consequences for our students, the way they act or behave or treat other people, where now they're just running around doing whatever they want to do without the fear or without the repercussions that they would have to face, right? There's no accountability with that. And there's like this beautiful merger, which is a beautiful chaotic merger of both of those things combining in a school community or a school campus, where it gets hard
Yeah.
to figure out how do we help each one of these students. And then we talk about academics and grades, and now we're seeing grades plummet, and we're like, well, we need to get our test scores up so we can get more funding. And but how can students focus if they have all these things, and we're telling them, hey, can you focus on the quadratic formula for this week? And you're like, not at all. Not at all.
Nope. Can't even spell it.
Right, exactly. Right. And so the answer to your question is it's those two things. It's the super restrictive structured, rigid structure that people have, or the lack of no structures or expectations that are now blending together that creates this anxious filled or this these feelings on edge of flight and flight or freeze moment. So I think that's what parents have to understand. And your parents play a huge role in their students' development. And they have to realize they have the power to influence their students. And a lot of parents probably feel helpless. Well, they have social media, they're following all these influencers. So, but are you going to let an influencer raise your
Is that
kid?
what you want?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have influence as well. So it's time to, and I get it. Sometimes for some of us, it's hard as parents. You have a lot of things on your plate, right? Work, school, getting the kids ready, bills that need to be paid. I mean, life gets stressful as an adult, but we also have a responsibility to these students and these youth to raise them to be the best, the best that they can be, the healthy versions of themselves that they can be, right?
Yeah. Something I've learned through our older kids kind of moving through high school is how I phrase things to them and expectations. And so our son is a sophomore now. And when he was a freshman, I said, look, I don't care if you take honors, if you take AP, if you are valedictorian. I don't care. Like, I do care if I see you're not trying your hardest. If I know that you're capable and you're just not doing it, I care. But my goal at the end of these 4 years is that you have options that you're happy with.
That's good.
Because if you get to the end of the high school, and you failed your way through, you don't have many options.
Mm-hmm.
Your option is to live with me for a while until you figure it out, which is okay.
Right.
But I want you to get there and be like, I could go to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
I could go to state school. I could go to culinary school. I could go work. I could go on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Have as many options as possible. It doesn't matter what you end up doing. Like, it really doesn't. How are you going to use the gifts and talents that you were given to bless other people, to be a blessing? Like, that's the why. Why am I learning algebra? Because I need you to help me figure things out at the grocery store.
Right. Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
so good.
how can you be a blessing to those around you? That's the why. That's your hope, is that you make somebody else's life better for even just a minute. Yeah, I seriously, I say this every time we talk. Like, I could speak to you for probably 12,000 hours straight,
Right.
just on things about kids. And it's
Yes.
it's always so good to talk to someone who just has the same heart for youth, that we know that they are capable, that they are valued, that they're worthy, that they have dignity, that they are worth putting our time into.
Yes.
Like,
That's so good. And it might sound cliche, but I don't think we remind parents enough. Remember yourself back in middle school. Remember how awkward that was when you're going through all these hormonal changes, when you're going through I know in the state of Arizona, when you had to go to class and you had to deal with these different teacher personalities and all of that. Like, take yourself back to that. And of course, we have to remember our students have not have experienced adulthood yet. So they don't know that adulthood is stressful. But right now, the stress that these middle schoolers are going through of dealing with different personalities, different friend groups, different people, workload is different expectations from different teachers. Like, that's stress for them.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that. And one thing that another mind shift that I would do for adults is remembering that a lot of students don't want to hear, well, back in my day, we used to, because
It's not helpful.
it's similar, but it's different. It's different. Whether it's, I mean, and I say it in a way of where if you're going to give a constructive story, share the story of how maybe you came up short, or a story where you showed that you were resilient in middle school years. Those stories are going to stick. But the stories of telling them that they're soft now these days and that they're weak and that they're snowflakes, that's going to land completely wrong, and it's going to blow up in front of your face when your students in high school and they're like, I'm not going to talk to them anymore because they don't care. So that would be the two mind shifts I would give them.
Yeah. It's instead of leading from like shame.
Yes.
That's really where that comes from, is like, I'm going to tell you you're not capable. And those words that come out of our mouth, right?
Right.
Instead of saying, this is how I handled it one time. Maybe that would work for you.
100%.
Maybe not.
Take what you get, take it or leave it. Right. And I think that's another thing that we remind them is like, hey, I'm going to share the story with you. Maybe it's going to be good. Maybe you can find some useful tools out of it. Maybe not.
Yeah. And it also adds that common ground. Like I've felt that feeling before.
Yes.
It's not uncommon.
Right.
And you will get through it. There's another side to this. You will get through it. Yeah.
Right.
What is something that you would tell me or other parents to start doing this week?
Yeah. That's good. And I would say, I mean, after the holiday break, I feel like we get all these extracurricular activities in and we're doing all those things, but then we get back into our workflow and our school flow, and that we forget to have fun with our students. And that's one of the things I can't stress enough. It's just fun. Raising kids and having teenagers and having them have their own minds and thoughts and ideas. Hear them out and do something fun, right? Whether that, like I said, ice cream, movies, arcade, or something that's low budget.
Go to the park.
Exactly. Something that you don't have to spend money. Go to the park. Go to the lunch. Have a picnic. Like, do something that's not in your day to day. Or one of my favorite things that my parents used to do is we'd take a different route home, right? Something that's a little different, so we can see something that's different together, right? Like, that's fun. Those things are like, I remember sitting there in the passenger seat and my mom like, oh, we're gonna go this way today. I'm like, where are we going? What are we doing? And she's like, just look, like, this is cool. This is different. Like, let's look at this and see what's different parts of our communities that's out there, right? Those things, those little shifts, they don't have to be drastic, like you're saying. It doesn't have to be anything where you have to spend a lot of money, but taking those moments to find fun with our students is super important.
I love this. I feel like that could be a whole nother podcast episode of like teaching our kids to pivot and to be uncomfortable. Like, why are you going this way? We don't ever go this way. Like, no, right? Do it and see what happens.
Exactly.
Let's get lost for a little bit. Yeah,
that's so fun. I think we forget to. I think we forget to do that for ourselves as parents as well. That we get so strict to doing a schedule that we forget the spontaneity of life. That's what's awesome about life and having free will, is that we can do something that we normally don't do. Like, whether that's a big vacation or whether that's, hey, you know what? Let's take our lunch break outside today versus being inside, or do a dinner outside versus inside today. Like, those little shifts and those little moments will help out a lot.
I love that. Thank you so much, Zion. I know I kept you longer than I had planned on, but no worries. It's just always so good. Like, I hope people watching this now understand why you are the gold standard for when it comes to youth advice, how to connect, how to reach them and do it authentically, because they will sniff you out if you do it any other way. If you don't like them, they will know it. But just, I cannot wait to see what you do this year with your partnership with Jake and all the things that will bring. And hopefully we'll have you here soon in person in Colorado. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I hope this conversation with Zion gave you not just insight, but relief. The kind that reminds you your kid isn't shutting you out because you're doing something wrong, but because they're trying to make sense of a world that feels big and confusing. And you get to be the steady place they come back to, your safe place. If this episode encouraged you or helped you to see your child with a little more compassion or clarity, I'd love for you to share it with another parent or educator who might need that too. And make sure to follow the show, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Every follow and rating truly helps this message reach more families who are navigating these years with intention and grace. Thank you for being here, for learning with me, and for choosing to show up in the middle with presence, curiosity, and compassion. I'll see you next time on The Middle Space.